Hello, I'm Sister Helen Phillips, a Maryknoll sister. I come from, born and raised in Hollis, Long Island in New York. I'm the fifth of 8 children. My father was born in Ireland, and my mother was born in New York of Irish parentage. My father was a New York City policeman, so I came from a very middle-class family. But at the end of my junior year in high school, I was going into the physics lab one day and I heard somebody say, "You're not going to the Mercy Sisters, you're going to Maryknoll." And I turned around and there was no one there. So I often think of the word of vocation, which means a calling. And I think that's what it was a call from God that I realized I had to follow. And I went home that day and told my mother, who was ironing, and I said, "Mom, I'm not going to the Mercies, I'm going to Maryknoll." And my mother, being a great psychologist, said to me, "What do you know about Maryknoll?" I said, "Nothing, except that they're missionaries." And she said, "Well, don't you think you ought to find out?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to." And that was the end of that. I was 17 years old, and my decision was made right then and there. I was assigned to a place called Juli. Juli is a small little town in the Altiplano of Peru, up at 13,500 feet in the Andes Mountains. And there I worked with the Aymara Indians. And again, I did not speak Aymara, nor do I speak Aymara even today, but they also spoke, most of them, anybody who went to school had also spoken Spanish. We taught in the schools there, which was the most interesting thing. They were adobe buildings with just a door, no windows, and desks that the kids used to just walk across the top and drop into slots because there were no aisles or anything in the classroom. After that, I was assigned to, from 13,500 feet, I was assigned to the Beni in Bolivia, which is below sea level. I worked with the youth and had a young teenagers and older young men and women group, as well as teaching in school. I found out that 2 boys in my class were the sons of a leper. Now, I had never seen a leper, nor I didn't know much any more about them than what I heard in the gospel, that they were terribly disfigured and everybody avoided going near them with fear of contracting their disease. Well, one day I decided to go visit their father, and we sat and talked with one another, and he told me a little bit about himself. He was what we call a comerciante, somebody who goes up and down the Beni rivers with food and materials and things for people who can't get into town because of the distance. He said, "Sister, when I was a comerciante and working the rivers, I never had much time for God. I was much too busy making money. But since I have become ill, Jesus and I have become very good friends." I was so impressed. And this, we talk about evangelization. I had gone to what I thought helped him, and he strengthened my faith in a way that I had never known before. Last year, I celebrated my 70th Jubilee, and there were 11 of us here in this house of my group with whom I entered. And that was a wonderful experience to have, and for which I'm very grateful to God and to Maryknoll. And when somebody said, you've done your bit, I thought, I can't imagine. This is my life. It's not a job. It's my vocation. And everything I have since I'm 18 years old, my food, my medical travel, everything that I have gotten from Maryknoll, and it's a wonderful way of returning some of that in whatever talents God has given to me.